Okay, so let's just keep going and build this picture up, keep building it up. You may see things as well. It's good to sometimes have just a little break from your work at time and just have a little step back from it or hold it from afar, because it can look, you can also pick up the areas that maybe you want to do something just slightly different with. So I've just seen something when I've come back to mind as then that I'm going to change just ever so slightly. So yeah, it's a really good thing to do. But yeah, keep wiping down your pastels, your lighter ones, especially if they've been over the top. I'm just going to go a little bit further over now as well, because I've just noticed that this comes a bit higher up. Feels like it's coming a bit higher up as this. There. And then I'm just going to go in before I put this last little bit of fur on, just go in now behind and start to layer up some of the tones on here. Let's work through a bit of a system. That could be like a little patch around one area. I'm kind of just going around the head a little bit now and seeing what's what here. And then I'm going to work over anything that I want to put a bit more brightly. So it's just going back and testing which colour I'm going to use. I think I'm probably going to go for this one. It's more peachy. And I'm just going to take a little highlight that comes on as well, which we might have more, you might have just an area where there's a couple more highlights. I'm not going to use it absolutely everywhere. Also deciding, have you got any kind of yellowy tones or anything in there as well that you want to use? Let's have a look. Just kind of little directions that you can see. And, like we were saying before, that really helps. Keep layering up, popping, with the spines, one colour over another colour where you're seeing it getting a bit lighter. And again, it's part of your own personal expression as well, how you represent that. There's no set way of doing it at all. It's just entirely what's happening with your hand. Because we're not trying to recreate this photograph, because we've got the photo. when we're doing the art piece, we're just recreating our own expression of a hedgehog. If you really enjoy the real, really getting into the observation side of it, then great. That's super. You can really observe and really start to look in more detail, and then over time we start to see more things. It's not something that I think happens immediately. It's something we do, over time, which is lovely. Yeah, and if you want to put any, if there's any areas on the hedgehog that are a bit darker and you think, oh, I've gone over, I've taken all my shadow out, just pop a bit back in. There might be some areas that you think, oh yeah, it's a bit darker in that area. Just go back over and pop it in, it's fine. Just what I'm going to do just now. It might even be around, again, around the front of the hedgehog's face, fur on his face. And then I'm just going to go and then get some of this lovely colours of the fur in here, which is gorgeous fiery red colours, aren't they? All sorts. Whatever we can see basically is what colour it is actually. And then trying to create the difference, getting some of this softness. So I'm layering this over a dark paper, but I can also soften it down a little bit just by smudging it over here because I'm going in with this is my darker, it's got reds and things in it. It's a bit of a burnt sienna colour, but and I'm going to work in some lighter ones. I think that I can't work out whether I can see its little feet there. It almost looks like its little feet. So I might just put in here underneath just something that could be a foot, but we don't know. And that's exactly what we're representing because we can't see, not there. And here we're only getting like just a little bit of something. I'm going to go in with it's almost a bit of a light brown colour there, just peeping through. I'm not trying to draw a foot, I'm just drawing something that is suggestion that could be a foot there. And then again, popping in and pop a bit of that light back, dark coming through here. Oh, and that's its foot there, actually. Oh, I think that's the foot. Me putting it there, just working there. Oh, I don't know, I'm not sure now at all. Just put something that's could be either there, just a few lines. And then I'm going to bring in some of so my fur there is going very much that way. And I want to put some lighter tones now, kind of going in some different directions. So I'm going to build them up. It's not quite light here. Just pop a few in. That's the beauty of it. We can just explore it. Different tones to try. Over. And then I'm just going to pop a little bit of pink in there. and then go in with a pop of light over the top. So again, it just depends what colour. Um, and try and make it a bit more like coming from here. So we've just got the occasional bits of light of just catching the light there, a bit here. Some coming over the back. And that, whichever way your hand goes, just go with that. You know, if it feels like you want to kind of tap or then that's your expression, so go for it. And then I'm going to go in with this full colour pink in down here. Just because that's what I feel like I want to pop in. Well, I've got a bit of a white ring around his nose there. I didn't really want that. So I'm just going to soften that down a bit by putting in a little bit of the background. So it's not got this big highlight on it. Yeah, that seems okay there. Just looking at the shape of the mouth and everything. I'm happy with that. But every time we do this, we would we'd do something slightly different each time. So that's the good thing, is to some of the dark ones in. And I think, I'm going to stop on the hedgehog and just have a little, like, we'll have a little look on the log here. So I'm going to use a lot of this dark in there. And this is one of those things that's difficult to see what's going on with a lot of it. There's a lot of kind of shapes and textures in there. So I'm just going to go in with the dark end here and just start to pop in a series of shapes at the end. They're quite dark, you might not be able to see them. And then I'm going to pop in some slightly lighter ones. These almost feel pinkish in here. So I'm just going to go in with what I feel. And where we've got things, textures on the logs and things, you can only go in and use shapes and things that suggest the log. Again, just looking at the different colours and tones on there. And then building up from dark to light. So if you need to put a bit of dark back in, that's fine. That sometimes makes the definition a bit more, it might make it look more like it is a log if you've got some of that in place. Because we get a few more straight edges in there, whereas this is probably a good example of how, a dark does work quite well in there to flatten it on purpose so it looks more, like a log. Whereas other areas we'd want to get that in first, but this is fine. We can't really see what all these things are, can we? It's just at the end here. See something that's a bit like a tuft here. It's a bit yellowy, so I'm going to get a yellowy one and just whatever it is, I think it might be. It might be a bit of moss or something that's catching the light there. Something underneath it. And then that's all I'm going to do for that end and then make my way across here because, if something's a little bit, we can't distinguish it, then we just do less to it. So I'm going to pop a little bit more this shadow here under the log. Going in there. And then get some of the shapes over the top. And this is all, again, it's all, we're not sure. It looks a bit mossy, so let's just pop a few lines that suggest the moss. Um, and fingers a little bit. And then we have all sorts of straw, like it almost looks like a log that's been, it's lying there, doesn't it? So what have we got in here? Let's see, some different tones underneath. Lots of different shapes and wiggly bits. And again, that's all we can do, these different shapes that we're seeing. We're just using our hand to kind of let it go and see what shapes it sees and it creates really at this point. Unless there's any obvious, really obvious shapes in there, but I'm not seeing them in this bit anyway, that's for sure. And we're just doing a best fit, putting it all together. The brain does a good job of putting together what's going on, what it can see for us. There's some big shadowy areas there, so I am going to enhance with a darker pastel in there, even though my paper is black. I am going to make it slightly darker there in this middle bit. So I'm working away across. There's a little bit of this mossy stuff. There's a little bit of kind of, I'm seeing pinky, orangey colours in there. I'm just going to just do what I can see. And then nice light over the top, almost straw or something. Something going over here. Maybe some more of that going under here. And then something, again, we're not really sure. Bit of lichen or something, or lichen, isn't it? Coming under there. Just to go over with a bit more pressure over the dark area there. And then, again, we can't really see what's going on here. But there is maybe a little bit more moss, willowy moss there. So it's guessing game. Because we don't know, we're not there, we can't really see, especially because when we're working from a photograph, we're not altogether sure what that is. But that's part of the fun actually, is just making up what's going on with it. Making out in our head what it could possibly be. So again, here it's quite light. Whatever that is there, maybe it's just the edge of the wood. I'm just wiggling it here, just making a wiggly shape. Because we just think it's a bit of wood there, and then trying to get some of these other shapes. So what else do we use? We might use taupey colour. It's slightly dark. Let's see if I've got another one. Taupey grey or something. But again, we're just going with what we can, what we think it might be. And then building in some other tones and shapes. A few squiggly lines and things in. What else have we got in there? So we're all just trying to work out, aren't we? You know, what shapes and tones and colours we can see. Something, yeah, it's a bit pinky red, brown, amongst the other colours. Something a bit blue is what I'm seeing there, but I have no idea. Have a little go at that. And then these kind of little lighter areas over the top here again, that are very similar to the top. That's where it's going to be getting quite, covered. So just keep cleaning off your pastel. But yeah, it's fun when we don't know what something is. We can only create what we think it is in our mind's eye. So that's the fun bit, really, is it's a bit of guesswork. So come back over here to get the kind of top bits over there. We just, a lot of it's just keeping going until we've got as many tones and things as we can, have a little look from a distance and decide if there's any dark or light shade you want to put back into your hedgehog, and then just enjoy and the fact that you've had a go at something completely new. When you take the tape off, it's always a surprise, I think. Make that the last stop before I come back and check to everybody. It's one of those things. Oops, drop the hedgehog down with that. As time goes on, if you did that again, I'll hold it. Yeah, it's capturing, it's where the light's capturing on the top of that break. That's actually not quite as bright as it looks on the camera. Um, it's just capturing the essence of the hedgehog, and you know, it's much loved, and we'll just keep learning these fabulous topics because it's just beautiful, isn't it? Our hedgehog, capturing it in a way that you want to, and keep trying with the shapes and things because it just comes over time. But I think that'll make that my final pause, and I hope you've enjoyed that.